Hey everyone, this is the Book of Flinn, and I'm your friendly Captain Vinzer. I hope you guys enjoyed Rain and I starting our Buffy and Clone Wars rewatch. We'll have lots more of that soon. I have just returned from a much-needed break away from the city, spending a few days on Cape Breton, where my sister runs a very lovely Airbnb. If you're looking for a magical little place with a great view, look up Fern and Thistle Cottages. You won't regret it. So the tourist season is imminent here in Nova Scotia, so I was helping out with a bit of cottage prep. We built a fence that didn't fall over. I broke up some big rocks into smaller rocks with a sledgehammer, pretending I was the mighty Thor the entire time, and just doing a little running around to pitch in. Rain and my stepson Victor, as well as a couple Flinns, came up for the weekend for a recharge too. Somehow we ended up watching like 6 hours of Jerry Springer, which turned out to be a really good way to kick off a little detachment from our stress. We played another very raunchy game of Telestrations, which is like the old game Telephone, where you draw and guess what something is, but it goes around the group until the message is utterly lost and replaced by something filthy. Raptor drew a naughty drawing, which is now etched into my fucking memory forever, which he did just to crack me up. It will replace the whale in me nightmares. And we finally got a nice night for a bonfire. The stars came out for a bit, and the pagans of the clan could finally celebrate Beltane. I was about the same age as my stepson when I first started going to South Haven, so it's pretty surreal and great to see him enjoying the place too. We created some lasting memories, like me almost getting my eyebrows blasted off when he attempted to drizzle gasoline into a fire to help. Phoenix says my dad voice came out. Stepson now knows the dangers of gas plus fire, and I still have my eyebrows. Anyway, it was nice to get this little slice of time away. It never feels long enough in the age of the pandemic, but we'll take what we can get as far as moments of peace. Okay, as promised, Jenny and I are going to chat about the last 2 episodes of Picard before the finale drops this week. So let's head to the conference room. Oh, hi there.
Hi. It's like daylight out.
I know. I had to pull my blackout curtains to shut it out.
You gotta shut it out so you can vibe.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Hi, welcome back to this part of the province.
Ugh. I didn't want to come back. I mean, it did, but it wasn't enough, you know, like.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lucky. I got 2 extra days there, but when the rest of the gang showed up, they only had 3 days. And when you've been stressing out from a pandemic and you're just fucking at your wit's end, you need a week minimum in a place like that.
Absolutely.
But it was lovely. Place is so nice up there. It hasn't sprung, like the green hasn't sprung up there. It's still kind of bleakish and wintry, but it's still nice. You're out in nature.
It's so lovely. Like I really meant that when I think about you being there. It's just like
there's still magic up there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool for me to see little Victor running around there at the same age that I was when I first got there. So
that's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, and he likes it there too. Well, he gets to play a lot of video games when he's there, so he loves it. He likes it though. He and Maggie get along great. I was trying to clear some. I was trying to clear some partially fallen trees that Maggie's. It's kind of like an eyesore, right? She's like, "Oh, that doesn't look good. Let's get rid of that." So I got rid of one in the driveway. I got it down, but then I was up trying to get one behind one of the cabins down, and the trunk was rotten, so I chopped through that, and then I got it, but of course it just fell down, and it's all tangled up in the top trees because, you know, Cape Breton's like fucking Fangorn Forest, right?
Yeah.
It's all tightly tangled up. So I threw a piece of rope over it, and I was like, oh, if I get a rope over there, I'll be able to pull it down. So I put a piece of wood on it, threw it over, and I miscalculated, and I rolled my ankle and fell down. I'm fine, but it's like a big purple bruise, and
oh my
I was
God.
like limping around all of Saturday. I felt like a fucking moron.
No.
It's like thank God nobody saw that.
Oh my God.
But it's like when you're gonna fall on some grass or whatever, you're fine. But as you're falling, you know you can't stop it, but you still have time to curse.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh fuck. But you know you're gonna go on anyway. That was the only hitch. I was limping around for a bit, and when the rest of the guys got there, and they just needed to fucking disconnect and do nothing for a bit, right? So we had Jerry Springer on in the background, like Maggie and I watch it every Wednesday. Watch that and press your luck. So they tuned out, all of them, to Jerry Springer for like 6 hours. And I kept going, guys, you want me to change this? Like, you know, like this, you don't want to watch this crap. It's fine. Me and Maggie watch it like junk food TV, and they're like, no, we're good. And they watched people tear each other apart for hours, and then we did something else, and they were good.
That's wild. They just needed to like just go shut their brains off.
Yeah, they had to watch drama that had nothing to do with them or something, but it was funny anyway. Yeah, then we did some crafts, and we had a bonfire in the last night. It was pretty cool.
I can't wait to go back. I haven't set foot on Cape Breton Island since 2020.
What? Oh my
Fall of
god.
2020, yeah.
That's unprecedented.
I know. It's like
fucking pandemic.
making me really.
Yeah, you got to get back for a soul recharge. That's what I've been doing in little bursts.
Yeah, I'm sort of planning on making because my show opens on the 1st of July, so I mean I have to go home, but I'm gonna try to like get at least like a week in.
Yeah, like I said, you got to get a week. Maybe by the time, like the gang was hitting 3 days in, and they were just starting to really relax, and then we had to go home.
Exactly.
Right? Like, fucking sucks. Well, we got a little catching up to do here, I guess.
Know.
Although, you know what? I watched both episodes today.
Yeah.
I was saving them, and it just felt like a
one big episode, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good. I didn't feel I was worried there was going to be a lot of stuff we'd have to really jump around. But then he said, anyway, I'm too stoned to explain myself. I thought we'd have to jump around a lot more, but it flowed quite well, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm with you.
God, fucking pothead.
Oh my god. It's like literally what you're saying makes perfect sense.
I know you understand it. Anyone else who randomly finds this recording is like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Well, anyway, let's start making our way through here, and it started off with, I wasn't sure who the kid was, but he ran into some Vulcans in the woods, which sounds like a horror show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. How is he not Duquesne? They were just like, this will be hilarious. We're going to bring this guy in who played a time cop in a previous episode of Star Trek. We're going to name him the same name as the class of the ship that he was on. But it's not him.
I think it is him. I think he's going to go on to be the time cop.
Oh.
Time's funny like that, right? So this is where he came from.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I don't like it wasn't a mistake that they got that guy or used those names. This is the guy, and this is going to be the start of his big time cop career.
Okay.
And, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I can. That's how I made my peace with it anyway.
Yeah. I wrote so he's like Mulder, I guess. Like
that was he had a very Mulder experience with the Vulcans. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't he looking for his sister? Was he looking for? Did I just imagine that he was looking for his sister? Was he looking for somebody? Wasn't he?
I can't remember what he was actually doing.
Yeah.
That must have been one of the forays where the Vulcans were researching Earth that led them to believe that Earth is too primitive to bother with until we had warp.
Yeah.
They're like looking around like, ugh.
There's that Enterprise episode, Carbon Creek.
Yes.
Yeah. But
like
that's like back, it's so good. Yeah. But that's back in the 60s?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
They introduced Velcro, so.
Yeah. So this would be, so this was later, and also it makes sense too, because I think after that, they obviously would have, after the incidents of Carbon Creek, so I just realized that they would have a transporter lock on their crew on Earth instead of just letting them crash there and stay there forever.
Yeah, they got out pretty quick.
Anyway, that was very cool, though. That was like...
unexpected.
Yeah.
How about Rios' statement in Wells's interrogation?
Literally, yeah. Yeah.
Picard's reading it just like, motherfucker. Reading it slowly and deliberately, like I am going to smack the shit out of Rios when I see him.
Crusty old old admiral, you know.
I like how he hesitated on that line.
Rios is, he's so, like, just throwing caution to the wind.
Yeah, he's a loose cannon. He's like fucking Riker on his worst day or some shit. Like he's just, I'm there for it though.
Yeah, me too. That's the thing. Like normally, if it was a different character, you'd just be like, oh my god, look what he's, he's just, But you're like, yes,
too charming and handsome. We're like, yeah, you do whatever you want.
Exactly. And now I can't figure out, like, is he gonna stay? Is she gonna go?
That's one part that we do have to jump back and forth on. Is in the next episode, he kind of has a chance to not go. But I mean, obviously, the situation we're going to get to there later is a pretty tense one, so he kind of had to.
Yeah.
But she wants him to stay. Those two are. I mean, they've been dancing around it, kind of in a fun way, but clearly they're into each other.
Yeah. So Rios, yes, I really, despite the fact that he is just blowing the temporal prime directive out of the water, I'm into it.
Yep. Totally. But yeah, that's still one of the big questions for me. I still think it's possible he could stay or Theresa could join the future. I don't know. I don't think they can't leave it. Like, it'd just be like this horrible, heartbreaking thing, you know. Well, maybe they will. I don't know. But I hope they don't. I hope they get a happy ending of some kind. Although I don't want Rios to stay in the past because I really want our Stargazer show with him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. I'm really, again, very curious about how this is all going to shake down in the next season, like who's going to be around.
Next thing on my list is a quote from Raffy. It's 2024. People have trouble with revolving doors. They can't handle a Borg queen. Another scathing commentary on current society, and a correct one.
It's true. I really enjoyed all the Raffy 7 fight stuff and the talking. Oh yeah, which leads into 7. Oh my god, there's a lot here.
There's a lot of 7 stuff in these episodes. Actually, right at the start of this one, when they're trying to find Agnes, Raffy goes to 7. I'm gonna need you to Borg it up a little, and 7, she seemed quite hurt by that.
Yeah,
you know? It's like making a small thing about trauma or something. It's just shake it off and do it kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, I liked when they did the team stab. I always like a good team stab, you know.
Yeah, they stabbed that fucker in the face.
The Starfleet 7.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, talking about how she tried to get in. Janeway goes to bat for her, and I just envisioned an angry Kate Mulgrew, yelling at a board of admirals. I would have loved to have seen that scene. And
there's no way, I feel like that was 7 saying, "Forget it, I'm out." There's no way Janeway would have given up.
No, totally. She was threatening to resign. The only way is if 7 said, don't do it.
Yeah, which is just
that's something I never thought about post Voyager. It was cool to hear her just reference Voyager and Janeway, in a casual. It just means so much. But it seemed like a no-brainer after Voyager that 7 would go into Starfleet or be working with them somehow. But the fear of the Borg, they just wouldn't do it.
And really, the whole time that we spent with Voyager and the whole time that Voyager spent in the Delta Quadrant dealing with the Borg and finding ways to beat them and making them less of a threat or understanding them more or all of that, it's all this character development for humanity that didn't happen in the Alpha Quadrant. So everybody else is still
I mean, granted, after things like Wolf 359, they got very good reason to be afraid. But yeah, it just goes to show that in Star Trek, every single so-called adversarial race we've come across in the history of Star Trek, be it Romulans or Cardassians, we do eventually find a way to connect with at least one or two of them. There's always, as Star Trek's all finding common ground and shit like that. But with the Borg is if the Cardassians and Frankie or whatever here, the Borg are way up here, right? So it's such a longer journey to acceptance. Although, based on what we saw in these 2 episodes, this birth of a new queen, which is it's like a whole new territory.
Yeah,
I think we were right about it looks like we were right about the La Serena being that ship. I had a feeling, and it looks like
I wrote that down. I was like, that is right.
I like it once in a while. But yeah, I started thinking about when Jaradi's going around. And also, I just side note, the one thing I didn't like in that first episode is how quickly they found her. It's she just, it's been hours later since she fled the bar and she killed a guy in an alley and she was basically eating car batteries and nobody noticed her doing this and they caught up. I don't know. I just found they spent more time talking about trying to find her than actually finding her, but then she was right. Anyway.
Agreed.
Just a little thing there. But anyway, it got me thinking about how the Borg got started in the first place. How the fuck did it get started? And this is as close as I think as we're going to see to how that happened. They don't look like the Borg we know. But just got me thinking, who was that one queen that really got the whole thing going? And how it's freaky when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely. that whole exchange with her and Agnes, like with Agnes, and actually I wrote this down, like Alison Pill, like everything she does makes me care about what she's doing. Like,
Agnes is tough, man.
I know, right? Yeah, like, and I mean, I always liked her from the start, but it's, yeah, I very much like the character, and I like this whole arc. It's wild.
She's very good at emulating how the Borg Queen actress talks when she talks.
Yes.
Also, and just the way the interplay between them and the way they visualized who was in control as who we saw on the screen. It was just, and like when Agnes got a little control back later on in episode 9, she was just like, she didn't lay down. She's like looked for a way in the Borg Queen's mind to find something to use, and she fought back. Like she could have been assimilated completely, but because she was strong enough, I don't know, it's just a 50-50 kind of thing, and we're seeing this really weird new thing.
Absolutely. Now it's like, if we're looking at, the events from the beginning of this season with that Borg ship showing up, so is that her in 400 years? Like, is that...
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be, right? Yeah, like, it's not like she didn't jump to that time and have all of that, like...
Did you get freaked out later on when they started to assimilate the soldiers as the Borg, but the music started playing, but then she made a reference to set course for the Delta Quadrant. We got a 400-year jump start, and I was like, oh my god, that's bad news, man.
Oh, yeah.
Every time that Borg music starts up, it freaks me out. It's just, the stakes are higher, right?
Yeah, speaking of the Borg, but more speaking about, so we've got Agnes the Queen, and then Sung.
Oh my god. Sung, the son of a bitch.
I just wrote, Sung basically sucks.
Yeah, oh my god, I think I wrote something similar. Where is it?
And I was like, what do I have to say about him? I'm just like, he just sucks.
Oh, I just wrote, fuck you, Adam Sung. Yeah, Corey, man, she finds out all this shit. And
yeah.
The QAI was weird. I mean, I guess Q can pretty much do anything when he's got his powers, but that was a new one for him. Was the ghost in the machine. But anyway, gives her a freedom potion, which seems to have worked. And then she fucks off. We didn't see her again until like, I don't know where she went. They didn't resolve where she went. So sort of.
And once again, like, so where, obviously that's something that needs to be tied up.
Yep.
Which is, and I actually only just realized that now, because there's so many things happening.
There is so many things happening, and it gets complicated, which we're going to get down to in the list. I just have a quick note here from that, the kid, when he ordered the cake from the replicator, then he had a sore stomach. I'm like, you let a kid eat something a Borg-infested replicator made? Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Like standard rations or something tucked away, like for emergencies?
No, have a piece of Borg cake.
That's amazing.
My tummy hurts. So what happens next? More interrogation scene. Young Guinan meets Q. Out of kind of in a Doctor Who way. At a time, he's like, "Oh, we haven't met yet."
Yeah, that was, and I'm starting to dread it even more. Meeting you.
I love Ron Delancey.
I know.
But yeah, so it looks like Q may actually be dying in a way that we haven't seen before, and I was like, wow, nothing lasts forever, not even a Q, eh? He's like, it's like he's draining out.
And he was like, oh, this is new, okay, cool, but then he's saying he's like, it's not like just dead and what's next. Now it's like,
I'm really trying to vaporize you right now.
Yeah, I know. Right.
That was a good one.
So I very much enjoyed his, he had a whole bunch of he just had a bunch of zingers, like the first thing that I thought was quite notable was him saying can a single act redeem a lifetime? So, and I don't know if that's him, whatever he's doing, he sees as potential for that somehow.
I started thinking with all that deep shit he was saying, was I partially correct in my theory that he's somehow going to be humanity's redemption or set us on the path to redemption? But it's like he started all this, and he knew that, he's like, I'm going to start this for whatever reason, which is yet to be revealed, to save himself, but it's like he knew once he started the ball rolling, it was really going to be up to Picard because he knows his powers are waning away. It's almost like his last chips bet on Picard, saving everything. So what do you say? It's not the trap, it's the escape that matters.
Yes!
So that's the very valuable message, which is cryptic, of course.
Thank you. I wrote that down, but I couldn't remember exactly I didn't write the whole thing down. It was just like, what is that?
I felt like that's important. I'm writing that down.
Yes. I know. Well, okay, but he also said, number one, he said all humans are stuck in the past.
Yes, right. That was the other big line. Yeah.
And he also said you live in the past until you reconcile it.
That shit hit home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so all of that, means something. I feel like almost everything he's said through this entire season has been riddles. He's just speaking in riddles.
Oh, yeah. When we put it all together after this episode this week, it's all royal. It's going to be... It'll all fit together somehow. I still don't see it. I don't see the big picture. And usually this far along, I think I've got a pretty good
Me too!
guess. But I really don't have a lot of predictions for the final episode beyond the fact that I think Renee Picard's going to succeed in her mission. Other than that, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
And that whole thing about, Schrodinger's Renee, I guess,
Oh, there was the two Renee riddle, too.
Yeah. There has to be two of her. One who lives, one who dies.
More cryptic bullshit.
I know! I feel like, and again, I'm just sort of guessing, but I feel like there's potential for one of our team to make a sacrifice, or...
Oh, yeah. You're probably right about that.
It's
entirely possible not everyone's getting out alive.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but just thinking about that now, my money's on Raffy. I don't know why. I'm just getting a weird feeling. Well, speaking of her, we had a quick little flashback there where she essentially guilt trips Eleanor into going to Starfleet.
That was wild, actually. That was because she's so, just because she's got her shit together doesn't mean, all her shit is, sorted,
Right. Well, Seven made a point of saying it earlier on, how you manipulate people, and then she's like, "You're right, I do."
Yeah.
And then we see how with Eleanor. I made a note here about Eleanor, how I think they're rebooting the Crow movie series, but this guy gives me a Brandon Lee feel, and I'd love to see this guy in a really well done Crow movie because he does the fighting shit.
Absolutely.
I really like this kid. He's good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I like Eleanor a lot.
Yeah. I follow him on Instagram. I mean, he's just a kid. It's just hilarious. But he just seems like a really nice guy.
It's funny to think these people in Star Trek now are young enough to be our kids in some cases. Yes. Gen Xers are getting older, man.
Well, what was it? The Chicago convention a couple of weeks ago. Who was it? So it was Will Wheaton talking to another 90s era person. And all of the kids, so Eleanor and Daj or Corey,
right?
And so a couple of the other young ones. They were like, "Okay, where are we gonna go after this? We're all gonna go out." And Will Wheaton and this other one are like, "We're gonna go back to our hotel rooms and camping, actually." And it's just hilarious because we're all at that point,
Yeah. Except for Garrett Wong, he still goes out and parties.
Yes, he does.
Can attest.
Yes, he does. That's hilarious.
It was a lot of fun, too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next? Jaradi goes to visit Sung. Precious metals to make the Borg nanobots work better. So that's interesting. It's funny to think he's going around eating inferior car batteries. In the meantime.
Right? it was just funny once they sort of got the started getting the army together, and it was sort of Soong's giving me kind of like James Bond villain vibes,
a little bit, yeah.
It's all he's not completely over the top, but he's
oh yeah, he's right there. We got a nice display of Guinan's power, which we never really get to see. She actually did a thing.
Yes.
Communicating with Picard. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that was
I don't have the whole quote here, but Picard had another good one. It was something about the emotional shrapnel that drives our lives. That sort of ties into some of the quotes earlier about dealing with your past, or it's going to deal with you, kind of thing. The emotional shrapnel, that was quite an expression that stuck with me.
Because shrapnel sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it damages and it gets stuck. Ugh. Yeah, that's good.
Last note on my page for this episode, which was called Mercy, by the way, which it's just about the La Sirena is suddenly the linchpin to the Queen's plan. So
yeah,
we're good on that one. I like I say, after every episode, I'd write down a larger philosophical question or a fan theory, and with our Q seemingly fading away, or I don't know, this is Q by the end, he might just be young again and be like, ha-ha, and then he'll fuck off. But that made me think, could it be possible, kind of in the vein of the new James Bond movies where they got that young guy to be the new Q, is it possible we could end up with a new, younger Q that's going to kind of be the pain in the ass for the next 50 years? You know, like, would there ever be a Q, I don't know, predecessor and successor? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he has a son.
That's right. I forgot about that.
You know,
I really need to do a TNG rewatch.
That was Voyager.
Oh, I really need to do a Voyager rewatch. It's been a long time for all three of them. Fuck. 4 Pound Enterprise. I gotta do that. Yeah, it was just a random thought. Like, could we get either Qs that aren't Corbin Burnson or whatever? You know, I remember that part.
It's clear that not all of the Q are as interested in humanity as this one.
Our Q seems like the outlier, honestly. It really does. Always has.
Yeah. Well, there's this whole episode. There's like a civil war in the Q continuum in Voyager, and yeah, like, and he and Janeway are like holed up in an old like plantation. It's very crazy, but also cool. We're sort of, I feel like we're like going for like the stuff.
Yeah, we're getting to it.
We're getting there.
We're getting to what I called the flashbang flashback.
Ooh, nice.
Because one of the bored soldiers threw a flashbang, and then it started the flashback with Maurice. I don't know if we ever knew Picard's father's name before, but we do now.
I did know it. I don't know. Yeah? I think you know what? He said it in Chain of Command when he just kept repeating, when he was captured by the Cardassians, and he just kept repeating his information.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Gull.
Yeah, so the perspective on all that stuff when he was a kid has been completely turned on its head.
Yeah.
And that was some heavy shit to watch, honestly. What is like, and it's like there was no thing that was happening to her that was putting her into this depression. It just was there. And this actress, man, she's fucking, maybe she deals with real life too, I don't know, but she fucking sold the look in her eyes. I was just like, yeah, wow. But yeah, it really, well, I mean, the only good part of that is it paints old guys Baltar's dad as a much better dude. You know, he's looking for his kid and his wife, and
absolutely.
At worst, he seemed guilty of what he was with Baltar, which is just being, a pontificating git. You know, but I was like, go Baltar, yeah,
absolutely,
family.
Yeah,
I can't not call him Baltar.
I know. Even just from an acting perspective, his delivery, and I don't know if it's just that he's British, but there are certain ways that he was delivering lines that was so Picard, like that I really, act, man. Like he's just I'm 100% sold on him in that role. Like,
absolutely,
he is absolutely Picard's father, no question.
Yep. We're good. We accept the fandom. I thought he was consistently one of the best actors in Battlestar. Like, he was he was fantastic to watch. Yeah. And that had a lot of good actors in it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I have a note here about Seven and Raffy stabbing a Borg in the face. We covered that.
Did we, however, cover Seven's gruesomely awesome transporter trick?
Oh God, in the wall. Imagine going in there and finding those guys, like,
right?
What the fuck? You'd be calling the fucking, I don't know who you'd call for that, Ghostbusters or some shit. But yeah, that reminds you how terrifying transporter technology can be.
Oh man, yeah. And to just do it on purpose, to just be like, bye.
Man, this is where we really have to hope that our timeline and the Confederation timeline are separate, because if Picard goes home, those guys could be in his fucking walls in the basement and go downstairs for a bottle of wine like, oh fuck. I got a note about the thing we were talking about earlier about how Janeway went to bat for Seven with a Starfleet thing, and I think Seven would be a very interesting captain for a ship on a show. You know, I think that would be really cool because she's such a dynamic character. I mean, there's so much going on with Seven that I would totally watch that. Just as I would watch a Rios show Stargazer, and I will watch 7 and 9 do Rangers, Captainship, whatever the fuck she wants to do, I'm in.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Obviously, like, we knew Jerry Ryan could act, obviously, but just this whole kind of, like, this arc in this season, like, losing the implants and losing that and getting, like, and just physically, like, I mean, she's been a different person in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because of that. And then to have that, like, put back on her.
Yeah, that was fucked.
Oh, and Picard, like, when he saw her?
I like that Picard and Seven are so close. It's like my comic book geek in me sees it as a crossover still.
Totally.
You know?
Yes.
Like, it's,
yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, it's like when Doctor Who no, not Doctor Who, the X-Men and Star Trek.
Right.
Although I know Doctor Who also had a crossover with Star Trek.
Yeah, comics, everything's crossed over. Everything. My next note here is about the La Sirena, where they take it, and there's a quote, "What if we take this ship and make a better Borg?" And so Agnes introduces this idea about making Borg by choice, and I made a note here. Okay, so you want to join the collective. In my mind, it's like going into the Matrix. Okay, it's great when you're there, but being Borgified or put in the Matrix would be a horrific process. So it's like, if they're going to start getting people to volunteer for the Borg, they're going to have to dial down the horrific induction process. You know?
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea, though.
Absolutely. And it makes me... Well, once again, then it's coming back to, like, so if that is 400 years in the future when they're, like, or it's...
I officially need a diagram.
I know.
I need a Doc Brown diagram.
Did the other Borg happen? Like, is this like a whoop? Or is this a shoosh?
I don't know, but I understood both those sounds.
Right? It's one thing, actually, that because I know, like, you read every once in a while, like, in the news where they're like, alternate realities exist, they've proven it, you know? And I forget that, like, civilians, like, non-geeks, haven't spent their whole lives, like, working to understand what that means, you know? If I tried to explain that to, I don't know, like, Brian's mom, she'd be like, what?
That's nice, dear.
You know? But you get it. So it's like, okay, so is this like an alternate time that went around and met up, or is it one that went straight through the original, like, you know? Like Back to the Future too, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So that's like, I always think of that when we get into those divergent timelines and things. I think we're in one right now, honestly. I'm waiting for it to be corrected, but, like, I think, like, we right now are in, like, our own version of the Thanos blip. In any year, we're going to come out of it, and COVID will be gone, David Bowie will be back, and things will be all right. I'm hoping.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can. Let's see, what else we got here? So, Rios makes the choice at 95% of the counter that he's going to go, but he does. He saves Picard's life, so, you know, good for Rios.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, there was a reference somewhere in there about when describing Picard. As far as I know, he's a human in a blood and bone he's a blood and bone robot or something like that. He's basically called Picard a robot, which I just thought it was funny.
I like it too, because he's not, like, trying to be specific, like, you know, he's like, well, it's like his consciousness inside of a synthetic whole. It's like, no, he's a robot.
Oh, this is funny because this was fresh in my mind because the other night we got high and watched Star Trek Acid Party again. But in that is one of the clips of Picard's mother when she's old and in the hallway with the tea, and he referenced that. He references that experience. That's a deep cut, man.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
That was great. Yeah.
It really kind of, I mean, that answers the question too. Now, okay, a lot of fans saw it. I think we might have even mentioned it. It's like, okay, who was the old lady he saw in the Enterprise hallway? Okay, well, now we know. It's just what he thought would have So that's cool. That's tying off a little loose end there for the nitpickers.
I especially like that, even just sort of as like a retcon for that episode too, because it changes what that was.
Oh, it
for
means
him.
so much more now. It really does.
Yeah. Oh, I love when they do things like that. Oh my god. Like, I know other people are like, you're screwing up the canon, and meanwhile I'm over here like, oh, I love it.
It's fixing it, if you ask me.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this stuff with Picard's mother taking her own life, very heavy stuff. But Picard seems to finally process through it, and he's hugging the Laris Talon character. And my big question here is, will Picard now be open to love if he gets back to his vineyard and Laris is there? I think he's gonna fucking give her a big old smooch, and I think he's finally there after all this time. Picard can finally, he's gonna maybe go call Crusher. That's gonna lead into season 3. Oh,
right?
Wait, that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna get together with Laris, and then Crusher will be back in his life, and suddenly he's in a triangle. But he's open to love, so he doesn't know what to do. We'll get to see Picard, old Picard, flustered as a schoolboy.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Man, like, that actually really kind of adds a whole level to his whole thing, committing and women and,
yeah, I see him in a different way now, but it's in a good way. It's in a more depth, like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, the term Borg Slayer was used in the episode, which I thought was good. I like that.
Oh, yes.
There's no need for a Borg Slayer.
Uh-huh.
That's a term now.
It is.
I like that.
I want to be a Borg Slayer.
So they take La Serena, and of course Rios goes, she took my ship, Seven, my ship.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I love that stuff.
So there we go. The ship's gone.
Yep.
And they're on Earth in the past, in an alternate No.
we're gonna go right back into it.
No. They're because they were here, and then they went over here, and then they went back down here.
Right.
So it's not an alternate past; it's just a past. It's the past.
Maybe he'll get stuck there. Maybe that's why the others go to look for him or something. Nah, that's too unbelievable. But I just thought of the find a quiet island and stay out of history's way kind of thing, right?
Oh my god! I have to watch that again.
My big philosophical question, well, it's not even a question at the end of this one, is a big theme in this season, and it applies to multiple characters in it, Borg Queen to Agnes to everybody, is a fear of being alone. It's even with Picard, he's been alone in his adult life because of his trauma, or Seven, all of them for that matter. It applies to all of them in some way, loneliness. Yeah. But then I started thinking, that's kind of cool. Like Star Trek has always been about you're not alone. It's about coming together and unity and shit, right? So I just thought it was kind of cool that if you're lonely, there's always Star Trek, I guess.
Yep. And found family, because they all have, or chosen family, because they all have.
I'm a big believer in it,
right?
So that was all my notes really for both these two episodes, and I'm almost certain this episode is going to be called something like Showdown at Rancho Picard or some shit like that. But I mentioned earlier about I had a thought about what they could do for Brent Spiner going into season 3, and it was because I saw that QAI, and I'm like, it just seems like a no-brainer that there's some. I mean, if with the stuff in B4 or whatever, that there could be a data AI of some sort.
Yeah.
Essentially bringing him back. They could do that. I don't know if they will. It'd really cheapen his death, but I don't know. There could be something, or data hologram like Eleanor or something, and there's nothing saying they couldn't de-age him for the fuck of it.
Exactly.
I don't know what their plan is. That was just a random thought, but
that's really interesting, though.
It's because Data's got to be involved somehow with the Seven. They have to figure out a way.
Yeah,
I don't know
how.
But
they can't haul in some random song.
I think after this season, we've had enough of songs. They can fuck off for a while. I don't know what they'll do.
Fuck you, Adam Sung.
I'm kind of hoping we see Lore in season 3 somehow. That'd be cool.
Brent Spiner only plays villains now.
Oh, I missed a note, and it was during the flashback. A young Picard had a little NX Enterprise model on his table there. That looked just like Archer's ship. So that was cool.
That is very, very, very cool, especially because the styling for all of his flashbacks are so like mid-century, 20th century style, like clothing type, so I love.
Yeah, it's old-timey when it shouldn't be.
Yeah. But I like that as just a reminder, like when this is all happening, which is very cool. Raffy and Seven still haven't kissed yet, so like everybody's pretty anxious for that to happen.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Is Eleanor a hologram now, or will he be resurrected?
Wait, what happened to him at the end of the episode? Because he had a portable thing on him. Was he still on the ship when it took off? Where the fuck is Eleanor? Where's that portable thing?
Oh, fuck.
Thanks for joining us today, folks. I saw somewhere yesterday that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I don't actually know if it is, I didn't confirm, but I'm gonna say it is, as every month should be. Given some of the things they're dealing with in this season of Picard, it's hitting pretty close to home for some people fighting their own fight. I've seen people lose their battle, some very young. And as I've repeated so many times and will so many more, we're not alone in our fight. We have people that care about us and want us to do well and be happy. I want you to do well and be happy, and you can always hit me up for a chat or a vent if a day is being especially shitty to you. I myself had a little bit of a fight getting out of bed this morning, which isn't terribly uncommon, as many of you probably relate. I said, okay, let's take this one little thing at a time. Get out of bed, have some breakfast, go from there. Little victories add up, man, and then you've got some momentum going and the depression gets nervous. So I hope today is a good day for you, filled with many small victories and things you like. A new Kenobi trailer came out today. I definitely like that. Well, that's all for today. To quote the 6 hours of friggin' Jerry Springer we watched in South Haven, take care of yourself and each other. Vinzer Flinn signing off.